Okay, so it's like 9 a.m. on a Monday. I just want to make this video to discuss one of my recent projects, which was the Lockdown browser uh, crack, I guess. I I spent like a couple hours on this and managed to get around the security on it, but I'm kind of curious because people have been like commenting and actually messaging me on Discord about it quite a bit. I didn't realize it was actually such a big deal because I guess most people just use like virtual machines to bypass it, but this is the gold standard of secure browsers as they call themselves, right? So I just want to go through my project and actually explain what it does, and kind of the process that I went through to actually make this. So I don't really like give a shit about cheating. My university like doesn't even use this like for any of the tests anyways. So I just wanted to do this because I saw a lot of people actually commenting and talking about this browser and how invasive it was. So I wanted to actually take a look for myself and see, what it actually did. Oh, excuse me. So, I mean, it's an injection basically. So DLL injection. I'm sure if you've seen any of my videos, you'll be able to recognize it. So the first part of the actual module that I have here is the external module, which is basically patching the actual external module of Lockdown Browser. Now, this is like, I don't know, it kind of really confuses me how they have just so much shit in here because this Lockdown Browser.dll, it's completely unvirtualized, and this is where they basically take control of your keyboard and your mouse, and I guess the shell as well. But you have these exports here, which I have commented fairly well enough, and see they set a hook on the low-level keyboard. Uh, I'll actually pull up the Microsoft documentation right now for it, so you can see. Yeah, here we go. So you can see they set a hook on the keyboard low level, and then they set a hook on the shell, and then a hook on the mouse. So the keyboard, it's pretty simple. I've commented most of it, so you can look through this by yourself if you want, but all my patch really did was, all this does is a jump if not zero to the actual continue. So basically you have this, it does a little check for a code, right? And if it exists, so then it just jumps to the next hook. So what I did here, keyboard patch, we have JNZ to continue execution, right? And we just force it to be a jump, so a short jump pretty much. So we just have our shell here and we write it to this address. Really simple, just forces the hook to always continue. And I didn't actually want to write a inline hooking for this, so I thought just a byte patching would be simple enough, honestly. Shell, pretty similar actually. We just force it to call the next hook, like before, so instead of, yeah, we just basically just nope it out. So we have this here, these jumps here, which both will jump to the return one, which means that we're forcing the shell to stop executing, and instead it will just call next hook anyways. And then the exact same thing for the mouse, except we have two different mouse hooks because one's for allowing the middle mouse, I guess, and the other one isn't, which is kind of weird, but whatever. It's literally like the exact same thing, anyways. So that's the external library, and if you deal with that, then you pretty much have most of the actual protections stopping you from like alt tabbing and everything taken care of. Of course, there's some other things you'll also want to fix though. So in the actual lockdown initialize here, I actually hook pretty much all of their IAT stuff, which they use for additional protection. So terminate process, which is obviously used to shut down existing processes which it doesn't want to have open. Just disable that shit. Well, I don't really disable it. So if I actually just returned true on it, then the actual terminate process calls, which are called at the very start of the program, which is like we've detected like OBS or something running. Would you like to close it? For some reason that crashed if you just return true, and true just means that it succeeded, right? So set I just return terminate process with a null handle, so basically it just does nothing, but it still executes the terminate process function. Then bitblt, obviously, if you guys know what bitblt does, it pretty much just captures your screen and puts it into a bitmap. So I don't know what bitblt actually stands for, bitmap something. But so from x coordinates, y coordinates, and then the width and the height. So this function is actually called quite a lot. So you can just return true on it, and basically, it doesn't actually capture any of the screen. But what I would suggest doing if you actually like cared about this and wanted to cheat or anything, then I would suggest actually just checking the current HWD and seeing if it's in focus, right? So that means screenshots will still be taken and sent, but only if you're currently tabbed in to the browser. So what else do we have? Empty clipboard, really self-explanatory. It just stops them from emptying your clipboard, right? Because they do that every single time you tab in to the browser. Actually, every time you gain a new focus on the browser, it does empty your clipboard. And then enum display monitors, self-explanatory. We just stop it from actually executing their proc for it. Enum windows, whoops, the exact same thing. Just enumerate through the windows. Um, and they actually do this quite a bit, actually. They actually do enumerate through windows pretty much constantly. So this is a pretty important one to actually keep in mind. I think I might actually have yeah, here's the actual WinProc right here. This is what it calls. So this is their executed WinProc. I don't really know why it's in here. There's a lot of shit that's like messed up in here, but this is the WinProc enumeration. So just return true on this, so it doesn't enumerate any of the windows. Pretty much. Get shell window. Same thing, really. It returns HWMD of the current shell window, which they do disable at the start. So this isn't really important. I guess if you injected like as soon as the process actually started and was initialized, this would matter, but otherwise they only use this once and then never again. Track mouse event. I would suggest actually filling out the event track with actual values. So I think yeah, we can do event track and then actually fill it out with values, because right now we're just returning basically an empty array for this. I don't even think it's called that much anyways, but I wanted to hook it anyways because it looked a little sus. Get message W, they send messages from the lockdown browser actually, if you look. The only reason I hooked it was because of this here, post message A. Yeah, this. Which is kind of weird, but I haven't looked into it too much. So I was just looking into the get message. Set window position. I basically just tell it to not set itself to topmost, pretty much, because it's really fucking annoying. Get foreground window. Just for debugging, or to check it out. So that's pretty much all the IoT hooks that I do here. I do HTTP send requests as well, but I don't actually do much with that besides just for logging previously. And it's only called a few times actually, but I should probably actually dump it again anyways. So what do we have next? Oh yeah, so the registry stuff. So they actually edit quite a lot in the registry as well, which is annoying, but it's whatever. So they disable the task manager. They just set this key to 1, and then on application exit they reset it to 0. Explore, all these, no close, no log off, all set to 1 pretty much on initialization. and then precision touchpad. I'm not entirely sure what this is for, but I know that they edit it anyways. I think, yeah, you can view all the keys that they actually modify in here by just going to this section of the data, and you'll see right here. Disable task manager, hide fast user switching, and I didn't fix this one because no one even uses CD drive anymore, so it's a non-issue. And then the shell window, which is basically your hotbar at the bottom here. Yeah, I just force it to show like that. So yeah, that's pretty much the entire project. I mean, there's really not much to be done here. The import hooking library is from someone else though, but I'll be making this open source on GitHub soon, and I'll actually be posting a analysis on my website, System Failure. But I would suggest if you actually want to see me reverse any of this stuff live, then check out my Twitch channel. I'll link it in the description as well. But I hope this clears some stuff up.